2 years ago, I interviewed you as a sophomore, and that was a month before your inauguration and as president.
I remember that.
And that was my first interview ever. I didn't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that. I love that.
Yeah, so fast forward to now, I'm so thankful to interview you once again, so thank you for the opportunity. In that interview, I asked you to state your name and title. And the first question I asked you was how you felt in saying your title. So if you could please, what's your name and title?
My name is Terrence Michael Sawyer, and I am the president of Loyola University Maryland.
And how do you feel about saying that almost 2 years later?
I mean, I still kind of can't believe it. Like, it feels like an incredible honor. And I get to say that a lot in like public settings when I'm at meetings representing the institution. And I get a tremendous jolt of pride because I just feel so fortunate to be able to represent this institution and all it represents and all of its students and all of its alums as its president. So it is never lost on me, and it still feels like an honor to be able to say that.
Awesome. And you were the first president at Loyola to not be ordained, and you were here 24 to 25 years before that.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about your journey to becoming Loyola's 25th president?
Yeah, sure. I was hired as the special assistant to the president for government, community, and legal affairs. And that was in 1997, I believe. Maybe 98, I have to check that, time flies. And I worked for Father Ridley. He was the president. He was an incredible leader, mentor to me. And I got to work on a whole host of different issues and realized pretty quickly that higher ed was an environment that I just loved, and that it's something I'd like to do as a career. And then from that, started just taking on different responsibilities. I tell my students all the time, show up on time. It's kind of a bad joke, but I would say it applies to men, but not only. Make sure your belt matches your shoes, and just be micro-ambitious. Be super ambitious about the task that is in front of you at that moment. And sometimes good things can happen, and I just kept getting more responsibility, had different job things to do, and then Father Ridley tragically passed away, and Father Linnane came as president, and then I worked with him for almost 17 years. And also an excellent mentor and leader and great support to me, gave me lots of opportunities to do different things. And then when he decided to retire, I decided to throw my hat into the ring, really not with the expectation that not necessarily that I would get it, but I knew, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so I said, I'm going to give it a shot. And here I am. It worked out.
Mm-hmm. And what made you decide to pursue that role, or really just throw your hat in the ring?
Yeah, I attended a session at Notre Dame, not the one here, the one in South Bend, that was offered about 2 years before Father Linnane announced his retirement, and it was called Discerning the Presidency, Discerning the Catholic University Presidency. And it was a program that was offered to lay people that might want to lead Catholic institutions, because it was an acknowledgement that there likely are not enough religious that either want to or have the skill set for what I would describe as the modern day presidency, what's required now to lead an institution. And so I was nominated to attend that and selected. There was 30 of us from around the country. And it was basically a week of talking about what the modern day presidency is, the skill set that you need to have to be successful in it, and the demands of the job. And it was during that I actually started to let myself think about, maybe I actually have some of the skills that are needed to be able to serve an institution like Loyola. And that was when I first in my head allowed myself to imagine that maybe this is something that I could do. And that gave me the confidence when Father Linnane retired to say, if I could ever do it anywhere, I would want to do it here.
Mm-hmm. And what has been the most rewarding experience for you in the past 2 years?
The real reward is literally just walking across the campus and having an impromptu conversation with a student that tells me about an internship that they just got, or something exciting that they're going to do that weekend, or how much they're loving their experience at Loyola. Those little simple interactions, for me, honestly, is the most rewarding part of the job.
It's funny that you say that. My next question is, you're always seen walking around campus, talking to students, having groups of seniors over to your house. How do you think this helps you stay connected within our community?
I've actually been told that I'm too accessible, that the presidential voice has to be preserved, and that would not be who I am. I mean, that's just I get my energy being with people, and particularly young people, students. It is my why, and so being with students and having the type of relationship where you really can have real conversations about what's going well, what's not going well, what could we be doing better, what's your experience like. I don't know how you do the job without that, and then you're just sort of guessing or hoping that the information you're getting through other channels is accurate about what this job is, which is to help create, with the help of a lot of wonderful people, including our faculty, create an environment where students can get a transformational education, an education that really makes their lives better, and will make their lives better, and gives them the tools that they need to be flourishing human beings. That's what we want. And I don't know how you do that. I personally couldn't do it if I don't get out of the balcony and on the dance floor.
Okay. So how do you think stepping into this role has grown or changed you as an individual?
It's changed my life in that I'm totally fine with it. This isn't a complaint. I have very little flexibility or agency around my life. It's very hard to maintain friendships that are not very immediate. Like, right, you've got circles of friends, you got like your really close friends, and then the next circle. I only really, and I feel badly about this, I just have such little time that I feel like I've had to prioritize those relationships that are closest and most important to me. Obviously my family, I have 3 sons, my wife, my dad. But then when you get on those outside rings, it's very, very hard to find time to keep in touch with people that I really genuinely love. But so it's changed our personal life. Luckily, thank God, or it wouldn't work. I have a partner and a spouse in Courtney that is on this journey with me. I mean, she is not paid by the university, but she basically works here. I mean, she's doing everything. She's getting ready right now for a first generation event at our house. So, but yeah, so that's the biggest change to our life. But it's not a complaint. We signed up for this and we love it.
And you mentioned it a little bit, your spouse, as well as your 3 kids and the dogs.
Yep.
How amazing is it that you get to share this career and this experience with your family?
Yeah, it's an incredible gift. I mean, my boys are all out of college now, and so they, they'll run into Loyola students at bars, and I guess I'm sure they're all over 21, or at other events and in town, and they'll know that they'll see that student goes to Loyola, and they won't say who they are, and they'll say, "What do you think of the president?" And they're like, "Oh, we like him." And they'll be like, "Are you serious?" They're like, "Yes, why would you say that?" Like, "I'm just kidding, it's my dad." Aww. So it's fun to have my family here and part of this experience. And my boys grew up here. This was part of their life. I've worked here their whole lives. And so this is just an extension of this is our family, quite frankly. This is our home.
And my last question is, as students come and go, what is a message that you want to leave our fellow Greyhounds with as they leave Loyola and go out into the real world?
That, a couple things. First, that we're counting on you. Your generation will become the largest voting bloc in this country, will determine in many ways the fate of our planet. And so that you take that responsibility not as a heavy burden, but as a real responsibility that you are absolutely 100% prepared for, and that your Loyola education has been refined over 500 years to make sure that you have the knowledge and the traits that the world desperately needs, and that we're not only counting on you, we believe deeply in your ability to keep our country and our world a safe, positive, and life-giving place.